Hello, I'm Itzel Cedillo, and today I'm talking about global food price inflation for my final argumentative evaluation of data visualization. First, we need to address our problem, which is global constant increase of food. We can see that food inflation is a global problem that affects people of all income levels. Food inflation is caused by a number of factors, including supply chain disruptions, climate change, and the war in Ukraine. The impact of food inflation is particularly severe in low income countries, as we may see later, where food expenditures account for a larger proportion of household spending. In this case, we're going to be using a database from Kaggle. This dataset includes global food price estimates and inflation by product, market, and country, which are our relevant variables. In this case, we have 5 ways to solve the problem. For starters, first, reduce food waste. This means to minimize food loss and waste throughout the supply chain to conserve resources and alleviate price pressure. 2. Invest in sustainable agriculture. This means to adopt sustainable agricultural practices to enhance crop yields, improve soil health, and reduce reliance on external inputs. 3. Support smallholder farmers. This is to empower farmers throughout improved infrastructure, access to finance, and extension services to boost their productivity. 4. Promote trade and investment. This is encouraging open and fair trade policies and investment in food production and processing infrastructure. And finally, 5, improved food distribution and logistics. So now we have our graphs here, and we can see average annualized food inflation and volatility. We can see that in both graphics, Sudan is the most affected country, followed by South Sudan and Lebanon. Then we have the currency versus total food increase in start date. And we can see here the currencies from Sudan and South Sudan that are the highest in food increase. Then we have our data coverage food, which means that the food where we have more information is in millet, rice, and sorghum. Then we have our total food increase in start date. We can see that January 2007 was the year when food increased the most. And for components, we have here the components that increased their price the most were millet, sorghum, and wheat. Finally, here we have our maximum food drawdown through the years on average. We have here beans, which means beans, bread, rice, and wheat were the food that was the cheapest through the years. And finally, our number of food items, we can see that apple, bananas, beans, bread, cabbage, carrots, cassava, coffee, etc. were the food items that were the most in every country. As we could see, Sudan South Sudan, and Lebanon are the most affected countries in food inflation. So, our starting solution is to provide the basic, cheapest products, which are beans, bread, and wheat. Um, we can provide them from the surrounding countries, which are not as inflated as Sudan, etc. Well, as we could see, food inflation is a global problem and it's not easy to solve with one proposal. But in this case, we have a possible solution to mitigate global food inflation and achieve sustainable food security for all. Um, this is by implementing a combination of strategies that focus on reducing food waste, investing in sustainable agriculture, supporting smallholder farmers, promoting trade and investment, improving food distribution and logistics, educating farmers, educating consumers, encouraging sustainable consumption patterns, and addressing climate change and promoting international cooperation.